welcome you all to the Summit of Conscious Leadership for ESG and Sustainability. We are happy to have you here today for an enlightening and inspiring event. This summit is organized by Atal Bihari Vajpayee School of Management and Entrepreneurship, ABBSME, Jawaharlal Nehru University, in collaboration with Delhi Management Association, DMA, and IMA. The Institute of Company Secretary ICSI and the Institute of Cost Accountant of India are our associate partners. Our knowledge partner for the event is Vijayash Foundation, with Griha Council as the supporting partner for CSR Times and our media partner.
In today's rapidly evolving world, the need for conscious leadership is more critical than ever. As business and organizations navigate the complexities of environment, social, and governance issues, the role of leaders who are strategic, mindful, and ethical becomes paramount. The conscious leadership is about making decisions that are profitable and beneficial for the society and the planet. It's about fostering a culture of sustainability, inclusivity, and long-term thinking.
Without further ado, with this environmental, social, and ethical governance and the paramount of it, I request the people here that are leading this conference and this session. I request Dean Sir, Professor Hiraman Tiwari, Dr. Lokesh Jindal Sir, Professor Rajiv Sijaria, Mr. Deepak Jain and Ms. Anuradha Sharma to please come forward for the lamp lighting.
Please take group photograph. Thank you.
We would like to begin with Professor Shanti Shri Dhulipuli Pandit, Vice Chancellor JNU, and in absentia again, Professor Satish Chandra Garkoti ji, Rector JNU. We would like to invite now Dean, ABBSME JNU, Professor Hiraman Tiwari sir. He is Dean of Atal Bihari Vajpayee School of Management and Entrepreneurship, JNU, to share his thoughts on role of conscious leadership in advancing ESG and sustainable practices. Professor Tiwari holds an extensive academic background with MA, MPhil and PhD from Delhi and DPhil from Oxford. With 17 years of experience, he specializes in Sanskrit language, literature, intellectual history and philosophy. Notably, accolades include professional fellowships at Hebrew University of Jerusalem, Ruprecht Karls University, Germany. His research contribution, published in prestigious journals and books, explores diverse facts of ancient Indian thoughts and cultures. Professor Tiwari's international collaborations, notably with Hebrew University, reflects his global academic engagement. As an eminent scholar, he continues to enrich academia with his profound insights into Indian philosophy and culture. We would like to.
Thank you. Thank you very much for this generous introduction. And let me begin with two apologies and one admission. Admission, which is obvious, as you have heard, and I shall welcome each of you a little later, because I always begin with an apology that I am not from this field. So I am the dean of this school only in name. I cannot do anything without the help of each of my senior colleagues and colleagues in the School of Management that has in fact attracted you all here. I'm very grateful that you have all come here. I'm grateful for all the participants. My senior colleague, Professor Sijaria, there's another senior colleague, Professor Arvind Kumar, who is away for some reason. And then our external guests, to whom I am very, very grateful for spending time on a Saturday. For 5 days, you must have worked very hard, and you have come here for this rather important meeting. Mr. Akbar, Ms. Sharma, Mr. Jan, and all those whose names I can't read, and the posters are adorned with all your faces, your contributions. So this was my explanation. Apology is that whatever I am going to say may not have any relevance to what you will be discussing throughout the day. I am here because I have to be here as a dean. That is one simple apology. I'm so sorry. I will say something, but I'm sorry that if I say something which does not make sense, I'm sure you will forgive me after hearing from what the announcer has said about my background. Yes, I have extensive interest in history, literature, philosophy, sociology, but that is, jack of all trades. In some of the things I have confidence, in some of the things I have worked, so I'm sorry, this is the first apology. The second apology, of course, is that we don't have such a lavish sort of infrastructure to welcome you, to which you must be used to whenever you go for such summits. We are a university of which we are very proud. We are #1 university in the country, and in any ranking you can see, and many of the departments in the university, and I hope one day, with the help of my colleagues in this school, the school will also be counted among 5-10 schools of the country. But that is the dream, that is the effort on the part of the faculty and the administration. So my second apology is that if you find yourself not very comfortable in this environment, in this hall, in this facility, I apologize for that. We are working with no budget. If it weren't for you, we won't be able to hold it. And that is how the government institutions are run. And the only thing that we can offer you is the name, Jawaharlal Nehru University, and even better name, Pandit Atal Bihari Vajpayee Bharat Ratna, in whose name the school has been established. So we're very proud of all of that, and I'm sure you will appreciate that despite the deficiencies of infrastructure and other things, we can certainly offer you a very high quality intellectual input from the school, which all our colleagues strive for all the time. Now, I want to welcome all of you once again to this university, again as I said on Saturday, because even for me, a person from social sciences and arts, Saturday and Sunday becomes a little difficult. But at this age that I am on a downhill, almost close to retirement, 3 years away, I really don't have time on Saturdays for various things, if not domestic work that I have. The topic that has been decided, it has been deliberated by the faculty, it was discussed in the faculty meeting. As I said, you must forgive me if I say something which sounds so innocuous and not along the line that you expect from a business school, if you like. Business school is a business school, but we are business school in Jawaharlal Nehru University, the top university of the country. So I do hope that you will feel a little satisfied to be associated with us today, and I also hope in future. All our faculty are excellent faculty. They have been drawn from various institutions. They are internationally quite active, if I am not exaggerating the fact. So, and they are young, unlike me. So they will grow, and one day from my retirement sedentary position, I will look at the school that they are prospering better than one hoped should have been already. But we are a very young school, as you might have seen. The first batch of MBA was admitted in 2019 July. Within a few months, the world and we in particular was struck down by pandemic. So you could see, but my faculty, at that time I was dean because I was the inaugural dean, and then some experts came in and I requested the Vice Chancellor to hand the reins over to them. So they in fact worked very hard to complete their session, and after that there has been a lot of disturbance. I'm not offering an apology for that. this we could have done better, or every company, any company could have done better, but the circumstances that presented themselves before us and before the world, before the country, we tried to do our best. And now we are limping back to normalcy, if you like, in last 1 year or so. And our faculty also is quite energetic. We have just in the process of completing the MBA admissions. I must say, I mean, it still is going on. The response is very good, for which we all are very, very grateful. The entire school is very grateful, and hope that we will provide them good quality education. I keep emphasizing on that I want to, since we are among the people who know business, do business, I think the name also sells. So JNU will sell, and this is the only one thing at the moment we can offer. Maybe in future there will be other slogans from the school. There will be leaders from here. Already there are some who have been produced or doing pretty good. Our wish and desire. Coming back to the topic, as I said, it was discussed. It was brought to the faculty by a few colleagues. Dr. Lokesh Jindal and his colleagues, they decided that they should do it. As I said, I'm admitting it openly, and on behalf of the Honorable Vijayash and Honorable Rector, they were supposed to be here, but they are both out of station because it was decided by mutual convenience of those of you who came here today and us. We are in the middle of examination, that is end semester examination, and this semester, of course, is end of the session as well. So we are going to say goodbye to the one batch which is in the 4th semester of MBA. Of course, the PhD students will continue, and welcoming the new one. So for that reason, the Honorable Vice Chancellor is in the south of the country, and Rector had to go somewhere. So I am carrying their message to you. All the best for the whole day. But the topic is interesting because it is conscious leadership. So I'm conscious, diffident and intimidated at once when I speak before you. I have no problem in speaking. That is not an issue. Even a little child speaks, they're excited. But once you are among the community who are expert in the field and you are not, therefore I'm conscious what I'm saying. I'm diffident because I do not want to make a mistake at the age of 62. And I'm intimidated because I'm the dean of the school who's supposed to know everything about it. So this is my expansive apology. Now, consciousness is the subject which I have worked a lot in philosophy. I'm not trying to connect it here, but every leader, no matter how small or big, has to be conscious of what they are doing. And if I give you an example, 2 examples from the area where I feel very comfortable, and if you think that it is appropriate, it is useful, please take it, otherwise forgive me. The 2 leaders who come to my mind, and they are perhaps well-known leaders or perhaps not very much counted. The one leader who never wanted to be a leader is Lord Krishna. And I'm referring to the episodes in the Mahabharata, particularly when you come to the episodes leading up to the Bhagavad Gita, which is a part of the Mahabharata. Bhagavad Gita is, of course, the entire lesson on leadership, how to lead. But this is the leadership of Krishna, who never wanted to be a leader. He said, I will not be fighting for you. So what I will do, I will lead you through the horses and the chariot to wherever you want to go. Now even there, the leadership, the conscious leadership that should emerge and has emerged in the literature is Arjuna's. Why? Because whenever you take a decision, you're conscious of the consequences that it is going to follow. Those decisions will have consequences for which you need to take into account when you decide to act. Now I know it is very different from what you must be doing in your daily life. Nonetheless, that's also a property dispute. That's also a dispute where people are working hard or desperate to find their place in the world. You can say simply property dispute between 2 sets of cousins What role does Krishna have there? He should have a role, he does have a role, he did have a role to provide consciousness to all sides. Both sides, after all, had approached him, which means this is among the family. How do we deal with it? Somebody is going to him with certain kind of help, because he had already announced that he would not pick up the arms for either side. He also had tried his best, which leads me to the theory of Chanakya, some of you might have heard. And then Chanakya provides 4 possible theories to resolve or to bring about a resolution of any conflict, or any situation rather, if not conflict. So he says the first method of resolution should be conversation, dialogue, convention, treaties, MOUs. And therefore, he is then asked by the Pandava side to go and talk to Duryodhana side. He does his best. Now this is what I am talking about. You take step one a step at a time. If it didn't work, then the second is from the conversation to give and take, sharing the resources. And Krishna was generous enough through Arjuna, because he was speaking for Arjuna and of course in particular Yudhishthira, not Arjuna, because Yudhishthira is the eldest brother. I'm giving you very quickly 2 comparisons. One is from the Mahabharata, the other from the Ramayana, and both are different leadership. Both of them are providing conscious leadership. And therefore sustainability in life, sustainability of life, and sustainability of whatever you have might emerge from it when you have invested your intellectual resources, your actual financial resources, and this is what you want to do. So when it doesn't work out, he says, fine, okay, give them just 5 villages. And those of you who have read the great poem by Dinkar, and when he finally comes, Yachana nahi abarana hoga. If you do not listen to my advice, you do not want to crack a deal, then let us fight. We'll move on to the next stage. This is what Chanakya too is trying to visualize. He is summarizing these 2 great epics and other episodes in the ancient Indian literature. Again, I am apologizing to you for dragging you back into 1,000 years of treasury from which I can pull out these resources, because that's the only thing I know. So the third then stage is, what do? Send spies. Spies not to harm but to find out what actually was going on. Why was Duryodhana so adamant not even to offer 5 villages, why it should have been 50%? Duryodhana is offering the number of brothers that they are, the number of the brothers on this side. Forget about the leadership that the land and the kingdom had gone to the father of the Pandavas. So that's, in that context, Chanakya also says that any leadership which does not have means to collect information, who doesn't have resources to find out what actually is happening among the employees, what are the reasons for the unrest, what are the reasons for any difficulties, then that is where the consciousness defeats the leader. So therefore, you have HR department, which is, it doesn't roll out only the job, the job it is to find out what actually is going on. So you roll yourself in one. This is what Chanakya does, and he said if it that and any leadership, any organization will fail if it doesn't have a means to find information. How do you find information? Tulsi, my another favorite author, sorry I'm quoting literature, not the literature that you must be used to, says what kind of leader there should be when you are offering certain kind of advice and deals, etc. He said, Barasata harakata saba lakhe, karasata lakhe na koe, tulasi praja subhagaso, bhupa ramaso koe. When you are giving away to your employees, the employees must know that they are getting it. And when you're extracting from them, they should not feel that they are being exploited. He gives an example, Tulsi gives an example, borrowing from Chanakya, that if you're like the sun, if your leader is like the sun who is very conscious, when he rains or it rains into this earth, everybody can see and is very happy. Because the rain in tropical countries is very, very good. The entire literature is woven around the monsoon, and our life revolves around it. So he says, when the king or the ruler, the leader should extract the revenue from its people, and when it does, they should not know. So you have to be the sun, how the water, this is a metaphor of course, how the water simply evaporates from the earth and goes away. You and I can't watch it, see it. Of course, you can see it these days, but we are talking about ancient times. But when you rain in, when it rains, everybody sees it. So the obvious reason is that you need to develop a kind of confidence in your employees, in your colleagues. And that is, I don't know whether it is appropriate example or not. So Chanakya then say that this is how you should do, and that is possible only when you get proper information. Where the problem is. The doctor, these days we can use lots of tools to find out very, very quickly what is wrong with our body, with our things. But when you are talking about the consciousness, then your mind needs to work, because without the mind even the machines don't work. Somebody has prepared and made and engineered those machines. The last bit that he says, if it doesn't, none of the three works, then only should you come down to what is called danda. Sama, Dama, Bheda, Danda. These are 4 pillars on which you work, and danda could be of various kinds. It could be decided by the leaders. And this is what Krishna did. And Dinkar is very close to what is there in the Mahabharata, when he says that, this is what is going to happen, so be it. Now, once you decide that, the leaders then cannot waver from it. This is where I am coming back to the Bhagavad Gita, that once Arjuna has decided this was the only path to get back his share, the investment, his family's investment, his parents' investment, or whatever it is, or share in particular, this is called property dispute among the siblings. It is there that if a true leader would like to get the person on the path of fighting for it. But that is, Chanakya said, this is Nikrishta, this is the worst kind of thing. And when you find it, because what Krishna then does, because how does this begin? The Srimad Bhagavad Gita, everybody talks about it. After a few verses, the chariot is there between the two armies. Look, you have to look at the poignancy and irony of it, both. The poignancy because the cousins are ready to kill each other for X. The irony is that they could have lived beautifully without much of a problem if somebody yielded to the conscious leadership. Suppose if Duryodhana did try to do that. Whatever the reasons, of course, we can't take the examples straight away as they are. So, even at that time when Arjun does decide that he has been done wrongly, he must get his share, even if it was up to him to fight it out and get it, he decides it, then too he gives up. And what happens? When he looks at both sides, he cannot not distinguish between himself and the others. He sees no difference between his own brothers, Pandavas, and his cousins. The years and years of memories are flashing with a gush in his memory, in his mind, and he tells them Krishna, because it is he who had ordered Krishna as his chariot to take him in the middle of the army, because he wants to see them for the last time, because he knew it will be very destructive. So I don't want you to in a business we should not think like that, but I'm talking about consciousness here. So once he says, no, I cannot do it, Gandhi vaha sansrate hastat, kvakcheva paridahyate, tacha shaktum vyavasthatum, brahmati vacha vevanaha. My Gandhi was slipping off my hands. Sansrite hasta. In Hindi, the word is called sarakna, which is a Sanskrit word, sansrita. Tvakchaiva paridahyate, my skin is burning, high fever. Nervous breakdown, nerves are not working, that is, your pen is not, you can't hold even a pen in your hand, and then high fever. Tvakchaiva paridahyate, my skin is burning. Nacha shaknum vyavasthatum, my feet are giving way, I cannot keep myself up on my feet. Bhramati vachame manaha, and I'm feeling giddy. Such a person needs immediately to be taken to a doctor. This is a, yes, I know. I'm going to, अच्छा किया हमारा मैं तो रोने ही चाहता था, मैं बिल्कुल खत्म करना चाहता था. So, but I thought I was narrating a very good story. So in any case,
we are getting a like it.
that's very kind of you, but I'm wrapping it up because I'll just give you only parallel example, and most of you know, no Indian needs to read the Ramayana and the Mahabharata to know all the stories. They are there with among us all the time from childhood. But these are the nitty-gritties, the way I look at it from the conscious leadership. And once he says that, it is at that time Krishna has to decide consciously either to scold him, why on earth did you bring me here, or to pep him up to do his duty. Because once you have decided to do it, complete it. So that, and then of course the 18 chapters are about all that. Bit of spirituality, religiosity, whatever you like to call it. I somehow feel that is one kind of leadership. The other leadership is just the opposite in Ram. And that is a fantastic leadership. The leadership that he knew from the birth, that he will be the king. So there was no issue at all. No challenge came until the day before he was going to be crowned the king of Ayodhya. He did not ask for it. The text is full of beautiful lines. He wonders in the night after he has been told by his father that next day he was going to be crowned. He comes and talks to his wife, Sita, why was it happening? All four of us together. That's another leadership. But then he is consciously bound by the tradition, and he does not want to upset and disbalance the cart full of apples, if you like. And then he is quiet, and next day when he is told why he was not going to be, his leadership is extremely strong, and if you look at it, and he doesn't give it up. I will end this conversation in saying that this is called a conscious leadership, that somebody who had everything coming on his way does not challenge even for a moment. Not a word I can give you with full authority from the original Valmiki Ramayana. I'm not talking about other stories. Not a word has been uttered by Rama why he was being mistreated, why he was promised and not given. He in fact said, I'm so happy. This is why he said, Acha kiya hamara, main to rona hi chahta tha. This is my favorite saying. That I wanted to cry, good that I found an excuse to do so. So he said, I always wanted to live among in the forest, and I didn't want to feel guilty all my life. Just because I am the elder brother, I should become king. But that's a different story. What he tells is that, and this is where I'll end, his mother is distraught. There are 2 chapters in the Valmiki Ramayana, the dialogue between his mother and he, the only child, of course. She says all kinds of things that any mother would to a child when she is desperate, or parent, let's say, but particularly in this case mother, because this is why I said poignant. And then he finally says, do you, my mother, as the proud mother of your son, as you say, want your son to be known as someone who was weak, who abandoned consciousness when he was given a task? For me, it is more important to stick to my ethics than the polity kingdom. So these are 2 contrasts that I am giving you of a leadership where you are fighting for it, but fighting through what is called your duty. Here you are doing your duty by abandoning it, but in the same sense, Srimad Bhagavad Puran, when it wants to celebrate Ram, and I am going to end with this verse, and I am translating it because I am not going to recite it, it will take longer in Sanskrit. Srimad Bhagavad Puran, Vaishampayan wants to celebrate the leadership, conscious leadership of Ram by saying, that he is a Maha leader, grand leader. Why? Someone who abandons the entire beautiful kingdom for which even the gods will do everything to acquire. Tyakva sudhistira surepsita rajya lakshmim dharmishtha arya vachasa yadagadharanyam maya brigam daitayem sitamanvadhavan vande mahapurush. That leadership is Mahapurush. Why? Because someone who can abandon the kingdom without even a single syllable of complaints is chasing the damn fake deer. How can that happen in a contract? Only because his beloved wants him to do. So thank you very much. You have to decide how to lead that conscious leadership. I'm sorry if I bored you. Thank you very much. This is the only thing that I know that I can.
Gratitude, sir, for
I haven't taken too much time.
No, sir.
Good.
We loved your address. Thank you so much for endowing us with your amazing and enlightening and words full of wisdom with your address. And the way you ended with the shlok, we all hope that we learn from it always. Moving ahead, we request Mr. Yogesh Gupta to sorry. Okay, thank you. I kindly welcome Professor Rajiv Sajaria to express his views on the session.
Good morning, one and all. Since today is very important and strategic agenda that India is going to accelerate on this agenda, because world is very consciously working on leadership for ESG and sustainability, that I can take this point that is very well laid down as a foundation stone for this workshop by Professor Hiraman Tiwari ji. Hiraman ji, though from not is this say exactly from the management discipline, but he is the practical leader, as the first batch was started in his leadership, and he is a practicing manager. Now second time, because he was a proven leader, so he has been given the responsibility of being. So I cannot say that a person who should have the domain knowledge of that particular thing can only lead. Otherwise also, if he has the basic characteristics of leadership, so he can emerge as a better leader. I will not take much time because the experts are there, and I am also having one panel discussion in the afternoon before valedictory, so I will be expressing my views at that time. Thank you very much for giving me time.
Thank you so much, sir.
Now we would like to invite Ms. Anuradha Sharma, founder and CEO of Pulki Communication and Vice President at DMA. Ms. Sharma is the founder of Pulki, a branding and communication firm established 14 years ago after 20 years of corporate career. Recognized as the Women Entrepreneur of the Year 2019-20 by the Delhi Management Association, she currently serves as DMA Honorary Vice President, editor of the DMA newsletter, the chairperson of the Marketing and Communication Committee. Ms. Sharma is also a member of the National HRD Network, Delhi and NCR Managing Council, and holds certification in active and integrated learning. Passionate about social sciences, she conducts pro bono workshops and creates public awareness campaigns. An avid reader, traveler, budding horticulturist, her past experiences includes roles at Responses, Ray Keshavan, Grow Talent, and Right Management of India.
Thank you so much, and a very warm good morning and welcome to everyone here. It's indeed an honor to be here today with all of you, and thank you so much to you for inviting us and collaborating and partnering with us for this very, very important forum. As Vice President of Delhi Management Association, it's indeed an honor for me to be here. The space which we are speaking on today, conscious leadership for ESG and sustainability, for developed India in 2047 and a better world, is something of critical importance today. And at Delhi Management Association, which is a forum for conducting such dialogues and discussions with different stakeholders and different audiences, Mr. Deepak Jain, who is leading the ESG committee here I believe, is making great strides in this space. So we're really indeed very grateful to be here. I was really inspired by your talk. It was wonderful, and the different aspect which you brought to and the perspective which you brought to this conversation was enlightening, very, very interesting. And I was going to basically talk about how different organizations are working towards building ESG, environment, sustainability, governance into their prime agenda, into their vision, into their mission. And I'd like to link this, drawing inspiration from what you have spoken right now, to an area which I am very, very interested in and which is my passion, which is branding and communication and building great places to work. I believe that a great place to work is one where employees and all stakeholders have pride in the organization, trust the management they work for, and have camaraderie between them. They have a best friend at work. And those organizations which are strong in this space, environment, social, governance, that is, they are giving back to overcome climate change, they're giving back to the environment, they're making a difference to society by building the community and working towards balancing gender, diversity, equity and inclusion, towards the well-being of the employees and their stakeholders and the community around them, and those who are ethical, credible, and who are led by conscious leaders, mindful leaders. Those organizations are organizations where employees can trust the people they work for, have pride in the work which they do, which their team does, which the organization does, and also come together to work on different communication initiatives, community initiatives, in order to build all these, not only within the organization, but externally among the community. I'd like to draw from some Indian businesses and corporate houses. Mahindra. You may be aware that Mahindra's employee value proposition and their mission is to rise for the greater good. And it is based on 3 tenets, that is, thinking differently, alternative thinking, accepting no limits, and driving positive change while doing this. And they have, over the years, over the decades, from the time they have set up their organization, have been working towards this. And you will see that through their various initiatives, whether it is the World Pride School or Nani Kali or the Mahindra Foundation or various initiatives which are rolling out within the organization, working with the community around them and engaging their employees in these initiatives, they have been working towards building ESG, which is now becoming a popular term, but has always been there within the organization. This is an organization which you would be proud to work for. It's a great place to work. Similarly, the Tata Group. You know, from time immemorial, they've been working through their various initiatives, whether it is now Tata Power, and they are working on renewable energy, or it is the Tata Trust which is working towards the community. These large conglomerates, these big businesses are all working towards a greater good and led by conscious leaders. They are being able to achieve so much and have become role models for organizations around them. Transparency in what they're doing through their sustainability reports is something which is building credibility, and I believe that this is something which helps to build the brand. Here I'm coming to my area of passion. So this is something which helps to build the organization's brand and makes that organization something which people will strive to work for, especially among the younger generation. And because we're sitting in a place where there are lots of students, and I hope there are some students over here, I believe this is the generation which is going to lead the country as we go ahead. And it's becoming more and more important, and I believe this is one aspect which younger professionals are looking for when they join a company, and so the credibility cannot be undermined. Thank you so much.
Thank you, ma'am. Following this schedule, we request all the speakers to kindly shorten or limit your addresses within 5 to 10
Apologies that I ate and followed all the time. Yes,
Difficult for the group.
Now we would like to invite Dr. S.K. Gupta, Chief Executive Officer, ICMAI, Social Auditors Organization. Dr. Gupta, as a postgraduate in Commerce, Gold Medalist, FCMA and PhD in Corporate Governance, has over 42 years of corporate experience in finance, costing, valuation and internal audit, legal and company secretarial functions. He is currently the Managing Director of ICMAI Registered Valuer Organization, CEO of ICMAI Social Auditors Organization, and COO of ICMAI International ADR Chamber. Dr. Gupta serves as an independent director on various boards and is a prolific writer with over 325 articles published. He is also a visiting faculty member and speaker at numerous business schools and conferences. He guides PhD scholars in his areas of expertise. So please.
Thank you. Good morning, everyone, and thanks DMA and Business School within the JNU campus for inviting me and giving me an opportunity of sharing my perspective on this very important, interesting, and a topic which is very close to my heart personally, because I hold a PhD in the area of corporate governance, which is very, very intricately connected with the whole concept. So we all celebrated Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav, 75 years of India's political independence. And we all took a stock as to what we have achieved over the period of last about 7.5 decades. And we all came out very, very proud saying that we are the 5th largest economy of the world today. And within the next few years, we are going to become 3rd largest economy of the world. Very good. All of us Indians, we are very proud of that growth and development that we have achieved. But then at the same time, there are economists and there are experts who say measuring the development and growth of a country only by looking at the indicator of GDP is probably not right. Even the United Nations has now come out with the concept of you've got to check and look at the overall human well-being as the true measure and the true index of the development of a nation and for the people living and sustaining on this planet. That's where we come to the focus of today's discussion. Conscious leadership within the domain of ESG. Now when I look at the corporates operating in the business world, it's a VUCA world which is highly vulnerable, very uncertain, hugely complex, very ambiguous, and we find that many of the businesses have profitless turnover. They have a great top line, but end of the day there's no profit. Many businesses have cashless profit. They have good accounting profit, but there's no cash, there's no liquidity. But when it comes to valuations, wow, some of the corporates have huge soaring, skyrocketing valuations. The point that I'm trying to drive is today, the stakeholders measure corporate performance not only by looking at the accounting and financial metrics. They actually want to invest in a company and they're actually having fancy for a company which has the ability to create value, which has the ability to preserve that value, and which has ability to enhance that value going forward on a sustainable basis. Value creation is the success mantra for the corporates in the 21st century. And that's where we have to focus on the concept of triple bottom line. Profit is important, but at the same time, people, planet, and now the 4th P got added, that's pandemic. how do you deal with post-pandemic, the new normal business situation that's also becoming very critical. So the corporates need to follow the pursuit of profit, which is essential for sustainable growth, but the path to profit has to be led through people and planet. That's where they need to have conscious leadership amongst their top management as well as right across the organization. They have to have an ESG mindset. But even going beyond ESG mindset, you have to have a true passion from within to live the ESG mindset. Living the ESG mindset means you got to be actively engaged in all your pursuits, both at the corporate level as well as right down to the individual level, in anything and everything that will make this planet a better world to live in, because it's in our interest, it's in the interest of everyone for that matter. Believe me, we are the first generation to face the heat of climate change, the environmental degradation and things like that. And probably we are the last generation who can possibly do something about that. Otherwise we reach a tipping point from where it will be very difficult to come back. And we have this planet, which is only one planet that we have. There is no planet B. This is what we inherited from our forefathers, and we have a moral responsibility of giving it back to the future generation in the same form and shape. We can't get the future generation to suffer just because we did not take action at the right time. And not take much of time, just finish it off with one more statement that we talk about corporate social responsibility. Government is doing whatever the government can do in this domain. Corporates have also been mandated in India by law to spend a certain part of their profits on ESG and CSR. But I think what is more important is ISR. Individual social responsibility. All of us sitting in this room here, we're not only talking about corporate leaders, all of us sitting in this room here, we are leaders. It is that individual step that each one of us take is what actually going to matter going forward, and that's where the conscious leadership within each one of us has to be awakened to take up the challenge of ESG going forward. Thank you so much. That's the
Thank you, sir, for reminding us of our individual responsibility towards our planet. Now we would like to invite C.H. Suresh Pandey, Central Council Member, ICSI. Mr. Pandey is Managing Partner at SPG and Associates. He is a professional with over 14 years of expertise in regulatory compliances, advisory services and corporate laws. As the former chairman of NIRC, he led the region to be recognized as the best performing during the COVID period. Currently the youngest council member of ICSI, his area of proficiency includes secretarial audits, merger and acquisition, taxation, corporate litigation, and active participate in professional forums and cultural organizations.
Thank you. Counselor, Economics Embassy of Indonesia, Professor Hiraman Tiwari ji, Dean AVB SME JNU, and when sir was speaking, तो मुझे लगा कि मेरा स्पॉट भी सर को मिल जाए, क्योंकि इतना मंत्रमुग्ध कर दिया सर ने और इतना अच्छे से बोले. थैंक यू सो मच सर. प्रोफेसर राजीव सिजेरिया जी, आई कैन सी मिस अनुराधा शर्मा जी, गीतांजलि मैम, गुप्ता सर से तो मुलाकात होती रहती है, एंड आई कैन सी मेनी प्रोफेशनल्स, कंपनी सेक्रेटरी, कॉस्ट अकाउंटेंट्स, एंड लाइक विकास तिवारी इज ऑल्सो हियर, एंड लास्ट बट नॉट द लीस्ट दीपक शर्मा जी, who is leading DMA. So when we are sitting in JNU and discussing about sustainability, Deepak Jain. So when we are sitting in JNU and discussing about sustainability, तो ऐसा लगता है कि हम लोग, and after listening Professor Hiraman Tiwari, I was so much impressed. तो ऐसा लगता है कि हम लोग जब हमें बोलने का मौका मिलेगा तो हम सूरज को दिया दिखाएंगे. So it is my honor and it is my privilege. I am speaking on sustainability, and today's topic is also very interesting. Here we are discussing conscious leadership for ESG and sustainability. So this is very relevant topic for India as well as for Indonesia also, because unfortunately in today's era, Western countries are leading this word sustainability and ESG, and they are representing and they are boasting about their role in the ESG. But when I talk about the sustainability or ESG, the origin of this concept is in the roots of India. And I can give you multiple examples, and I'm taking clue from Mr. Hiram Tiwari ji, and he has already discussed about Ramayana and about Gita. So there are many examples of sustainability, because sir, you have already spoken about the leadership. So now we can discuss about something about sustainability, and sustainability के बारे में जब हम लोग बात करते हैं, so we can see one very fantastic example of sustainability. Sustainability means you are living without making harm to anyone. So here I am taking the example of Shiv Parivar. In Shiv Parivar, Lord Shiva के family में, if you take the example of the sustainability, so snake is ornament of Lord Shiva, and if you see the son of Lord Shiva, Lord Kartikeya ji का vehicle था, it was peacock, and when you see the vehicle of Ganesha, it was a mouse, and when you see the wife of Lord Shiva, जो उनका vehicle था, it was a bull. माँ अम्बे का vehicle तो हम लोग सबको पता कि नंदी, शिव जी का vehicle नंदी था, और माँ अम्बे का जो vehicle था वो सिंह था, शेर था, it was a tiger. So when you see the food chain, snake eats mouse and peacock eats snake, and lion or tiger eats bull. But if you see the example of Lord Shiva's family, and it is, I think it is the best family in the world. We are giving so much of example about Lord Shiva and Lord Shiva's family. So in the Lord Shiva's family, in the best family of the universe, which we say, no one eating the other person, and it is the best example of sustainability. Everybody is living, they are doing like extraordinary, and they are not making harm to anyone. So this is the best example of sustainability. And when we see in today's era, because we are sitting in JNU when we are discussing about sustainability, so I can give one more example. If you see the admission process of JNU, because when I was a kid, तो हमेशा से JNU के बारे में पढ़ा, तो मन करता था JNU में जाके पढ़ाई करेंगे, एडमिशन प्रोसेस देखा, तो JNU एक इस तरह का संस्थान था कि हर कोई यहाँ पे, एवरीबडी वांट टू टेक एडमिशन इन JNU, एंड मतलब मुझे लगता है जो रिचेस्ट इंसान होगा इंडिया का, वो भी चाहता होगा मैं JNU से पढूं. एंड इफ यू विल सी द स्टूडेंट बेस ऑफ द JNU, तो शायद रिचेस्ट फैमिली से भी लोग यहाँ पे आके पढ़े होंगे, और ऐसे पारिवारिक बैकग्राउंड से लोग यहाँ पे आके पढ़े जिनके घर में शायद खाने की कमी भी थी. So this is the example of diversity in sustainability. So we have to see, we have to follow this kind of sustainability in our life, I would say. And I see India and Indonesia as upcoming leader in ESG, and we being the country on the equator, we can become leaders in the solar energy. I'm telling you, we can do wonderful job, and India is already taking a lead, because first International Solar Alliance, it is having its headquarters in Gurgaon. So we are already taking lead, and Indonesia is also part of this. So now the time has come when India should come forward with its friend Indonesia and other countries in Asia Pacific and on the equator, and we should produce leaders for the ESG. And today we are doing service to the I would say nation and to the society, where we are discussing about ESG and governance and sustainability. So we should discuss more and more. We should ignite the people, and we should discuss about it. And this is only possible, as said by Dr. S.K. Gupta, when the corporate in India come forward and follow and discuss and implement about the framework of ESG. And we need to think, because the corporate are already following, like BRSR reporting is applicable on top 1,000 companies. We are trying to do it, we are trying to implement it, but now we also need to think how we professionals can basically contribute in this cause. So here the answer is we need to discuss, we need to think, we need to educate the corporate houses about the ESG framework. We can help them to frame their assessment, to frame their basically policies. We can help them how to implement. In the implementation part, we can help them. And as social auditor, we can do the assessment also. Because many professionals, including Dr. S.K. Gupta is leading, many professionals are doing the job of social auditor. So we can help them in assessment also, and we can help them in auditing also. So because I have limited time, so I am like wrapping up my speech here. So thank you very much, and very, very congratulations to all the organizers. Thank you.
Thank you for your address.